5:30.
Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Dankert.
Mayor Steam.
Present.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Present.
Councilmember King.
Present.
Austin.
Present.
Helly.
Present.
Hagan.
Present.
Fisher.
Present.
Enright.
Present.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item 1, we need a motion for adoption of the agenda with the additions. You should have the additions with you. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 2 is a motion to approve the minutes from June 5th.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 3, recognitions and award. Proclamation for recognizing June 21st, 2017 is the longest day. And I have a couple over here. Whereas Alzheimer's disease, a progressive neurodegenerative brain disorder, tragically robs individuals of their memories and leads to progressive mental and physical impairments, and whereas there are no known treatments to prevent, cure, or even delay the onset or slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease, and whereas an estimated 5 million people aged 65 and over have Alzheimer's disease, and another 200,000 people under age 65 have younger onset Alzheimer's disease, and whereas Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States and 5th leading cause among the elderly. And whereas in Minnesota, nearly 249,000 family members and friends cared for people with Alzheimer's and other dementias, providing 284 million hours of unpaid care, with the annual value of this caregiving totaling $3.5 billion. And whereas in recognition of the individuals, family, friends, and caregivers dealing with Alzheimer's disease, the researchers who are seeking a cause or cure, and whereas the City of Austin recognizes the efforts of the Alzheimer's Association to promote awareness to fight Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, thereby improving the quality of human life for those living with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers. And whereas the summer solstice, June 21st, 2017, has been declared the longest day, with teams around the world coming together to honor the strength, passion, and endurance of people facing Alzheimer's disease with a day of activity. Now therefore, I, Thomas A. Steam, Mayor of the City of Austin, do hereby proclaim June 21st, 2017 as the longest day, and urge all residents to show their support for that day by wearing purple and engaging in a day of activity honoring the strength, passion, and endurance of people facing Alzheimer's disease. Also, Jean, did you want to come up here and tell us a little bit more about it? And would you like this?
I would. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to be here again this year. June 21st is the longest day, and it is recognized as Alzheimer's Awareness Day. Actually, June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, but on that date, we actually are more engaged in helping people to understand what Alzheimer's is and how it impacts caregivers as well as communities, actually. This year, from 11 until 3 at the Senior Center, we're actually going to have some displays and some information so that people could find out more about Alzheimer's. And you talked about, how it devastates older people, but the youngest known person and youngest age is at 28. So early onset can be very early in a person's life. But for the most part, so that's kind of more rare to have early onset Alzheimer's. It is more seen in their 60s and 70s and 80s. So many people do end their lives suffering from Alzheimer's. And it's a debilitating and devastating disease. And many of us have had situations that we know of people who have been afflicted with it or know caregivers who have been involved in trying to take care of people either professionally or through volunteer or through family members. So I appreciate very much that you're recognizing that date, and hopefully people will wear purple on Wednesday and also would be interested in stopping by the senior center to learn more about it.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you,
And I
Jeannie.
do have the brochure again, I can distribute, that talks about the 10 signs to watch for, so I'll just make sure that you have them and you can distribute them.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you for your efforts.
Thanks,
on
Gene.
this. We appreciate this. We also have another proclamation, and this one is for the, I believe it's the 75th anniversary of the Hormel Institute. Whereas the Hormel Institute, funded by the Hormel Foundation and an important part of our community since 1942, is celebrating 75 years of research. And the Hormel Institute, University of Minnesota, from its early days of research for Hormel Foods to the world leadership in lipid research and naming of omega-3 fatty acids in today's cutting-edge cancer research, continues to make discoveries to improve the health of the world. And whereas as a high-achieving department of the University of Minnesota, the Hormel Institute partners with cancer research institutions around the world to help further scientific discoveries and create positive, progressive impact. And whereas the Hormel Institute is supported and celebrated by the community, including Hormel Foods, whose success fuels the Hormel Foundation's ability to support the Hormel Institute, the Hormel Foundation, whose support allows the Hormel Institute to grow, prosper, and thrive, Mayo Clinic, who has served on the Hormel Institute's board of directors since 1942, and countless generous individuals, organizations, and businesses from throughout the area who support research. And whereas the Hormel Institute continues to strengthen our community by promoting science, education at all levels, and helps improve the quality of life in our local community through contributions made by the faculty and staff. Now therefore, I, Thomas A. Steen, Mayor of the City of Austin, Minnesota, do hereby proclaim June 19th to be the Hormel Institute University of Minnesota Day, and congratulate the Hormel Institute University of Minnesota on their 75th anniversary and applaud the progress that continues to be made through this great collaborative institution. Okay, I think everybody realizes the value of the Hormel Institute to our community and their impact. Also, we have Derek Ellis and K9 Rudy, regional trial champions. Chief, if you want to tell us what happened and show us that belt.
Thank you,
is
Mayor,
huge.
Council. As many of you may have already heard, Derek Ellis and his canine partner Rudy. Derek has been with the Austin Police Department for just a little over 2.5 years. He's had Rudy for a little over 1.5 years. He just completed competition in Region 12 canine trials, which was held in Fargo, North Dakota. And Region 12 consists of states of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and North and South Dakota. There were 89 total competitors, and of a possible score of 700, Derek and Rudy achieved 693 points out of a possible 700. So I just thought it would be great to recognize Derek and Rudy in front of the City Council for a job extremely well done, and hopefully he can continue this fine work in the future. And we're very proud of him to have such a good dog and handler working for the City of Austin. Thanks,
Well,
Derek.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm guessing your dad might have helped you a little bit, Derek.
If I had any questions, he definitely did.
Your dad was a pretty outstanding dog handler himself.
And obviously, here's the hardware to prove that he did win the trials. He gets a trophy and a belt that show his accomplishment. So, I don't know if you have any questions for Derek.
What were some of the agility tests that you did?
Some of the agility tests, there's it's called a catwalk. It's a ladder that they have to climb up with a big kind of catwalk. He stays on it. I walk around it, and he has to heel to me. He jumps over 4 hurdles, probably track-sized hurdles. Jumps over those, but they're look like a picket fence, chain link fence, brick fence, door, that kind of thing to kind of simulate that kind of stuff. There's a crawl. It's where he has to crawl underneath of a, well, we call it a crawl, but it's kind of a box. He has to crawl underneath of it and come back out around the other side. And yeah, that's about it.
What's the next step now? Is there a nationals?
There's a nationals this year. It's in Alabama. Haven't really talked to the chief yet, but
When is it?
it's September, end of September. And yeah, if I was able to, that would be a fun experience to try and represent Austin down there. So.
Okay.
Derek, Judy's afraid to ask, but is he a drug sniffing dog too, or just a?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's dual purpose. So he narcotics dog and PD one. So.
It's a good thing I left mine at
Yeah.
How old is Rudy?
Rudy's 2.5.
So,
2.5 years
and
old.
what's the expectancy of being able to work as a canine?
It all depends on the dog. Rudy, I mean, he's really healthy, so we're looking, at least 6, hopefully more years, 6 to even 8, to the point where he's not having fun anymore. But they get pretty up there in age for dogs. So 10, 11 years old.
And he's a Malinois?
Malinois, yep. So
Okay.
his health is usually a little bit better than German Shepherds.
Of the dogs that are there, what would be the breakdown? Shepherds, Malinois? I mean, are most of them Malinois now?
Well, there's quite a few Malinois. It's probably I don't know the exact numbers, but it's probably half and half Shepherds, Malinois. But there's also like hybrids where they're Shepherds, Malinois,
Okay.
bred together. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Derek. Good job.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Congratulations.
So, thanks.
How long have we had a dog program, Chief? I remember, wasn't maybe 20 years?
It's been over 30 years, Lieutenant Holt, and he retired as an active canine handler, but he's been with the program for 30 years, and he still oversees the program for the younger officers.
It's hard to believe we used to not have any dog at all, but we've had one continuously since then, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
And the Sheriff's Department?
The Sheriff's Department no longer has one
They
at
don't
this
have
time.
one? Okay. Well, thanks again, Derek.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, where are we at? 4?
Consent.
4, consent agenda. We just need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 5, under public hearings, is a resolution reviewing a tax abatement application for Bigelow and Lennon Construction. Craig?
Mayor, members, this is a home that would be constructed in Nature's Ridge for $368,000. Reviewing the application, it's in conformance with the adopted city policy. Council action is requested to approve.
Questions? Now we need a resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan. Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 6 is a resolution. Well, also, okay, it's public hearing, so if anybody has anything to say about any of these, please let us know. 6 is a resolution reviewing a tax abatement applications for James E. Campbell, correct?
Similarly, this is a tax abatement request at 3201 6th Street Northeast for a home valued at $165,000 and is in conformance with adopted city policy. Council action is requested to approve the abatement.
Does anybody here have anything to add? If the homeowners are here, I think you don't really need to say anything. It's probably gonna look pretty good for you. If not, we need a resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under petitions and requests, 7 is a motion approving the December 31st, 2016 audit report. Mr. Dankert?
As was presented at the last council work session, our auditors, Clifton Larson Allen, presented the 2016 audit report. We received a clean opinion with no findings, and we'd recommend council approval of such.
Council, you have anything? If not, we need a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And number 8 is ordinance in motion, reviewing the ordinance that would ban the feeding of deer and geese in the city limits. We've gone through this. Does anybody have any questions on this?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now B, B.
Move for the adoption and publication of the ordinance.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember King. Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 9 is a resolution in support to secure state bonding for the 4th Avenue Riverway State Water Trail Enhancement. Craig?
Mayor and members, the state application projects for bonding requests go through an official process. As part of that, they suggest adoption of a council resolution of support for our 2 bonding requests. As such, we've included those in the packet and would like council approval to support a resolution for those 2 projects. We have one at 4th Avenue Riverview Project, which is a state water trail enhancement, and the second one is the Ramsey Scientific and Natural Area Site Improvements.
Council, you have anything? If not, we need a resolution for number 9.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 10 is a resolution in support to secure state bonding for the Ramsey Scientific and Natural Site Improvements. Craig?
Same thing, just need a council support resolution.
Any questions?
Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 11 is a resolution approving a grant extension for the Mighty Ducks grant. Craig?
Mayor and members, the city was awarded a grant for $60,000 for the Mighty Ducks grant. As part of that process, we're going to purchase an ice resurfacer, otherwise known as a Zamboni, for Riverside Arena. As part of that process, we need a special unit that has a side discharge for the resurfacer, and as such had a longer lead time from the manufacturer. So we need to do a grant extension. So in the packet is included a extension for that grant award so that we might take advantage of that $60,000.
Council?
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 12 is a resolution approving an amendment to the conditional purchase agreement with Austin Utilities. Craig?
Mayor and members, as you may recall, the council approved an agreement with Austin Utilities to accept the power plant site. As part of the conditions of the conditional purchase agreement, they had until June 30th of 2017 in order to make that transfer. As you know, discussions have continued with that, and we need an extension. The provision has been approved by Austin Utilities. Council needs to concur with that as part of our charter, and included in the packet is an extension until the end of the year of December 31st, 2017 to make that transfer happen.
Any questions? If not, we need a resolution.
So move the second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 13 is a motion approving a preliminary plot for Fox Point. Holly?
Here, council members, I'm just going to put this up here for reference. At the June 13th, 2017 meeting of the Austin Planning Commission, the commission reviewed a request from Pro-Growth Bank, Austin HRA, and Three Rivers Community Action for review of a preliminary plat of a proposed residential development located adjacent to 7th Street Northwest and 24th Avenue Northwest. The development will include a 38-unit townhome project and includes lots for single-family housing. The single-family lots would be on the northern piece outlined in purple on the overhead, and the southern piece would be the area where the townhomes would be developed. The application for approval of the final plat and to rezone the development area for multifamily will be has been received and will follow approval of the preliminary plat.
The Planning Commission, with 5 members present, recommends approval of the preliminary plat with staff recommendations, which are in the backup materials. By the following votes, there were 5 in favor, 0 against. The conditions that were recommended are that the final plat shall be in substantial conformance with the preliminary plat. Development agreement shall be completed, detailing utilities and minimum standards required for the pending project. The final plat shall be submitted and approved within 6 months of approval of the preliminary plat. The platted property shall be rezoned. Access, public utility easements, and right-of-way shall be substantially complete. The portion of the cul-de-sac shall be posted as fire lane, will be managed by the company who is doing the development. The stormwater detention, retention shall be provided per city requirements and shall be owned by the developer. Landscape plan shall be submitted with the final plat improvement plans, and all other applicable provisions of the subdivision code and permitting agencies shall be met. There is a summary in your materials kind of detailing how this project came about. There was a housing study done a few years back indicating that additional housing was needed in Austin, particularly affordable housing for our workforce. This came about due to a partnership, as noted, with HRA, Austin HRA, and Three Rivers Community Action. There are representatives from Austin HRA here tonight and also from Three Rivers. If you have any additional questions about the project or the development or how it's moving forward, also in your materials was I included a sample from a project that they did in Northfield of what the townhomes might look like. But again, we will have additional action on this project coming up more than likely in July. Do you have any questions?
If there aren't any questions, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Holly. We need a motion resolving the city council into the Board of Adjustments and Appeals.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 14 is a motion reviewing the variance request for accessory structures petitioned by Nicola and Christoph Baumann. Holly.
On the overhead, there is a outlined area that is owned by Nicola and Christoph Baumann. This area is proposed to be combined under one tax ID number for the purposes of adding additional structures to that property. Ms. Baumann earlier in March of 2017 received approval for an interim use permit. The permit would allow her to have up to 3 horses on her property. As part of her interim use permit, she was required to seek a variance for the structures that she proposed to add for the care of her horses. At the, I think I have an error in the date here, but the, oh no, that's correct. At the June 13th meeting of the Austin Planning Commission, the commission reviewed a request for variance from the requirements of Austin City Code regulations limiting the square footage and number of accessory structures. The petitioner again owns 6 parcels, and there are 4 that are outlined in this area. That lower one shows 2 parcels, but they're already combined. So there are 4 in that picture. The petitioner wishes to exceed the number of structures allowed by 1 and to add 6,240 square feet in accessory structures. The accessory structures with existing structures exceed the allowed square footage limit of 1,587 square feet by just over 5,500 square feet. However, her lot coverage at 0.01 is very, very much less than the allowed coverage of 40%. The petitioner requests the variance due to the unusually large size of her property and its rural characteristics. After review, the Planning Commission, with 5 members present, recommended granting the variance 5-0.
Council, any questions? If not, we need a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second. Second? Who's second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We need a motion adjourning the Board of Adjustment and Appeals back to the City Council.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And 15 is 3 motions granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract for the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at A 1015 8th Avenue Northeast, the Lunning property. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? B 409 12th Street Northeast, Martinez and Ramos property. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And C, 1709 3rd Avenue Northwest, Bank of America property.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We don't have it on here, but I know there's citizens here tonight that want to address the council, so we are to citizens addressing the council. Pat, I know you have some people with you. Got to get up here, state your name and your address and your birth date and how come
Occupation.
you're wearing that gun and a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm Pat Rederath, along with a couple of my neighbors, Jim Sauer and Dave Unverzat. I live at 738th Avenue Northeast, and like I said, these are next door neighbors. We were part of the rural annexation from Lansing Township, probably, I don't know, it was about 6 years ago. The reason we're coming to the council meeting is because we have an existing water issue. It's a problem that we've always had. Our feeling is it has gotten worse, and we feel part of that is because of the city sewer that was put through there. Don't know if there was some ground disturbance or anything, but some of us are starting to get sand in our wells in our basement, the well pits. Numerous pumps being burnt out to take care of it. I know when the city approached us to do this project, Mr. Unverzat was approached to have the sewer line ran through his property. At that time, he had a gentleman's agreement with Stephen Lang, the city engineer, that he would allow that to go through his property as long as the city helped us with running a tile from his and I adjoining properties southeast to the Cedar River. We're not asking that you come out and take care of our problem for us. We are more than willing to help pay for some of these issues. We're hoping that the city council would agree to pay a percentage of it and possibly waive any permit fees for the project. I'm in the process of getting 3 estimates. I only have one as of tonight that I have copies for each one of you. The initial one is from Ellingson Drainage, and it's for $14,200. I would say in the next week and a half, I would have the other 2 estimates complete, and hope that you would take a look at that. We would be running a 12-inch tile next to an existing 6-inch tile that is not big enough to take all the water that.
So there'd be 2 tiles, a 6 and a 12?
Yes.
Okay, now, we've had discussions on this, we've had discussions with Stephen. I've been out there, I think Judy, who else has been out there with us? I can't remember who was all there. And I asked you to get, I don't think we can make a decision tonight because
Okay.
we don't have Stephen here. But I think, I said if you guys were willing to help, I think the council, hopefully the council would look favorably upon it. I know some council members have spoken in favor of it. Council?
It's my understanding that they've all, at least one of the individual had a musty smell in their water, had it tested, and the report just came back today, and it is considered undrinkable. They have Sandpoint wells, and so this high water table has caused nitrates?
Yes.
Too high on nitrates in their wells now, and so they've been advised not to drink their water.
Who's that gentleman?
That's
Jim Sauer.
Jim Sauer.
I think what Stephen, or what some people would say is we've had a record amount of water this year. And that could be, I mean, that's what Stephen will, that could be one of the reasons for all the problems we've had out there. But I know at the same time, the council likes it when people, want to help. I think, with that nitrate problem, if it's the water table, this should lower the water table, and that should take care of the nitrate problem. Like, it just seems like common sense to me, right? What are you doing for water right now? Do you have to buy it?
Yeah.
Just drinking water? Can you shower and stuff in that?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, and I would add
mean, what we
too-
know right now, let me just finish. We've got one estimate for 14. You're gonna get other estimates, so we know 14.
Bow Tiling is coming and Ray Tucker.
So we know that 14 is the most that we would have to pay. And I guess the proposal that I've talked about is splitting the cost 50-50. If council has any other proposals or any problems with it, or for it or against it, this would be a good time to get it out.
I will mention from when I was out there 2 different times, when the sewer was put in and stuff, all of the water from the railroad tracks by the golf course to whatever road that is to Lansing, all drains, it's low right in that middle where these people live, and it all drains there.
Yeah.
And then it's pumped under the road, and then it all ends up on their side of the street, flooding their properties. And everyone, I met with 4 different people. It has considerably gotten worse.
Where do you live with the nitrates?
My house is the next house to the west from Dave.
You're south of the road?
Yes.
We're all on the south side. They're
All
to
on
the
south
west
side.
of me.
Well, there was one lady there that was on
Yep,
the north side.
on the north
Yeah, there's
side.
2 houses on the north side that flood.
Well, I mean, that's all, unless, if council wants to take action on this tonight, but we need the other, we need other, and we need to have Stephen here, I think, before we can. But, if anybody has anything they'd like to add tonight.
I think it sounds like a very reasonable request, considering.
I have to say I am completely unfamiliar with this, so I'm going to need a lot more information on the timeline and how we know that the city's actions caused this problem and so forth. I assume that it's there, but this is the first I've heard of it, so I'll be depending on city engineer and others to fill me in before I would be comfortable taking action.
I think what we'll probably do is put this on the work session for the next.
I'm open to it. I just, again, with the other 2 estimates coming in before we actually take action would be important, and I was not familiar with this.
And we'll probably have the 2 estimates at that time, too.
Right.
Correct.
Initially, I
Just
was
to note
opposed.
that, Mr. Unverzak had put in that 6-inch tile at his own cost, 30 years ago, and it was able to handle all this water until this project had gotten completed, and too much more water is going there from the improvements we made out there.
And what I was going to say is, and add, is that, we've survived the floods that have happened out there from, the 2008 and 10 or 12 or whatever they were. I've never had water like this. I mean, within a reasonable period of time, those flood waters have receded. This is not going away. It's staying.
I think we'll do it, we'll put it on the work session. Council members who want more information can get it then. We'll have Stephen there. I think originally I was opposed to this, but I thought we were talking on the order of $100,000. I didn't know how about the, if there was gonna be a split or anything, but apparently you've talked to people and they're willing to pay for half of it, and
There's 5 to 6 of us neighbors that are affected, and we'll pay for it.
I guess I would be in favor, but I don't vote, So we'll do it at a work session, have your stuff ready then. I would say have some other people there then if you like, and we could make a decision at the work session.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
It'd be
Anybody
July
else?
3rd.
Thank you.
What's that?
July 3rd.
July 3rd. No, is it? Do we have one?
Yeah.
Is that when it is? Okay,
Next week.
July 3rd.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Pat. Anybody
Thank
else
you.
want to address the council on anything? Okay, then we're to reports and recommendations. We'll start with Paul, because we haven't heard from you too much tonight.
I have nothing here.
Okay, Dave?
I'd like to congratulate the Hormel Institute again for their 75th anniversary today, and I'd like to also mention that tomorrow at the Hormel Institute is a symposium, and we'll have over 200 of the top cancer research scientists here in Austin. And a lot of people don't know that, but that's a very big deal.
All right, thank you. Laura?
Nothing.
Janet?
I just want to mention, and I think some others will also, four of us attended the League of Minnesota Cities Conference this past week, and June 14th through 16th, and there's a lot of good information and connecting with other representatives from other cities all over the state. And we'll be bringing some of those ideas and information to the work session.
Jeffrey?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing, Judy?
Just to echo Janet, there were some very, very good sessions. At every session I went to, there were 4 other cities that talked about the topic and gave their points of view, and they were varying sizes of cities. It was just a really good conference.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
Fortunately, it was in Rochester too, so a lot of it was. Greg, you got anything?
Nope.
Any reports?
Nope.
Okay, I don't have anything. So unless somebody wants to hang around for a couple minutes, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll see you on July 3rd.